Neurological Disorders, Lesson 4.2. Are you getting enough quality sleep? The goals of this lesson are to analyze the sleep journals and determine if students are getting enough quality sleep, and to determine whether there are correlations between sleep behaviors, caffeine intake, and level of sleepiness. At the end of this lesson, students should be able to explain how we progress through different sleep stages as we sleep each night, and to calculate whether or not you are getting enough quality sleep. We'll achieve our goals through a Socratic discussion and analysis of our sleep journals. To prepare for this lesson, you'll need to review the key scientific concepts presented in it. They include an overview of the stages of sleep, including non-rapid eye movement, or NREM sleep, stages 1 through 4, and rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. Additionally, this lesson addresses how the sleep stages cycle through the night, and that sleep requirements vary, and if they're not met, will result in sleep deprivation, as well as the consequences of sleep deprivation. You can review the scientific content in the background reading provided to you in the teacher primer, the teacher manual, and the student workbook. The teacher primer provides in-depth knowledge about the scientific content presented in the lesson. The teacher manual or lesson plan provides a minute-by-minute explanation of lesson structure, including instructions on how to manage the discussion and activity. And the student workbook provides additional explanation for your students. You'll also need to be sure to print the activity worksheet and sample sleep journal for your students if they did not keep their own sleep journal this past week. The key point of the lessons due now is that sleep behaviors vary widely. We'll get to this key point by using sleep journals and calculating group averages for total sleep time, caffeine intake, and sleepiness scale score. You'll give students a copy of the activity worksheet that guides them through today's lesson, and in the Do Now, have them complete Part 1 of that worksheet. Part 1 instructs students to form groups and use their sleep journals to calculate the weekday and weekend averages for the group's total sleep time, caffeine intake, and sleepiness scale score. The key points of the activity and discussion are the stages of sleep, including non-rapid eye movement, or NREM sleep, and rapid eye movement, REM sleep, as well as how the sleep stages cycle throughout the night. Additionally, we'll discuss that sleep requirements vary, and if not met, will result in sleep deprivation. We'll get to these key points by analyzing the sleep journals and with a Socratic discussion. You'll use slide 3 to compile class information and calculate the class averages for the sleep journal analysis. Once you've calculated class averages, students will again work in groups to complete parts 2 and 3 of their worksheets that ask the students to plot a graph to illustrate the data and analyze the data to determine if there is a relationship between sleep and caffeine intake, as well as sleepiness scale scores. After the students have completed those tasks, you'll use the next set of slides to remind students of the different stages of sleep and how they occur in cycles throughout the night. You'll focus on the fact that another important component to analyzing sleep is analyzing how much time is spent in each of the sleep stages. Students will then complete Part 4 of their worksheet, which has them calculate how many sleep cycles and how much REM and NREM sleep they got during the school week and on the weekend. The worksheet also asks them to compare their results with the idealized young adult graph. Typically, students are getting far fewer hours than they need and not meeting the demands for REM sleep. The key points of the wrap-up are again that sleep requirements vary, and if they're not met, will result in sleep deprivation, as well as to reinforce the consequences of sleep deprivation, which were highlighted in the homework reading last night. We'll get to these key points by interpreting data from the sleep journals and with a Socratic discussion. In the wrap-up, you'll ask students what happens if you don't get enough sleep. Students read about sleep deprivation for homework last night, so they should be familiar with the many effects, including fatigue, daytime sleepiness, clumsiness, weight loss or gain, decreased concentration, decreased memory, and decreased performance. The key points of the homework are that sleep requirements vary, and if not met, will result in sleep deprivation, the consequences of sleep deprivation, and the correlation between sleep patterns and other behaviors. We'll get to these key points by using data from our sleep journals to write a report. For homework, students will complete Part 5 of their worksheets, which asks them to write a report about how sleep patterns correlate with behavior. Students often ask for more details about sleep requirements. You can find more in the teacher primer, the teacher manual, and the student workbook. During this activity, one of the most common comments teachers get is, "My sleep journal indicates that I'm sleep deprived, but I feel fine." And a response here lies in the fact that most of us are sleep deprived, but that we've gotten used to that state, so we've almost built up a tolerance to it. Additionally, the best way to tell if you're getting enough sleep is to go to bed and see if you can get up without an alarm and remain active and alert all day without any caffeine or naps. Another question teachers commonly get is what causes sleep disorders that could prevent someone from getting the appropriate sleep. This is a wonderful question and one that you could certainly dedicate an entire lesson to. If you decide to do that, and even if you don't, you can instruct students to another resource that they have available to them. The student workbook reading for lesson 4.2 addresses several common sleep disorders, including insomnia, obstructive sleep apnea, parasomnias, and restless leg syndrome. Additionally, in tomorrow's lesson, lesson 4.3, will specifically address narcolepsy. At the end of this lesson, students should appreciate the importance of getting enough quality sleep, as well as knowing whether or not they are getting enough quality sleep. Students should also be able to use data to determine whether there are correlations between sleep behavior, caffeine intake, and level of sleepiness. This lesson allows students to analyze and interpret data, a key focus of the module. This lesson also allows students to see connections between biology and behavior, another key focus of the module. Don't forget, if you have any questions, concerns, or feedback, to let us know. You can contact any of the CTSE team members and we'd be more than happy to help you.